Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Errol Spence Jr. may knock out Mikey Garcia in the first round. Now, this is an interesting statement that was made by Hasim Rahman Jr., who gave an interview to Fight Hype. Here's his direct quotes. Errol Spence is too big, too strong, and he's probably got the better experience than more experience. He also stated, I got Spence by knockout. I don't think Mikey is going to be able to take the heat for 12 rounds. Mikey might get knocked out in the first round. Now, that's an interesting statement from Hasim Rahman Jr. And I thought it was very funny when he stated that because, to me, it makes no sense that how you can logically come to that conclusion. I understand that Errol Spence Jr. is the bigger, stronger man. I understand that Errol Spence Jr. is a very good and talented fighter. But let's make no mistake about it. Errol Spence Jr. is not a one-punch knockout artist. He needs an accumulation of shots to be able to stop an opponent. And so the likelihood of Mikey getting stopped in the first round is about the same as the likelihood of Errol Spence getting stopped in the first round. Not very likely. You have to put respect on elite level fighters. You have to show these guys the respect they deserve. Mikey Garcia is an elite level fighter who's a 4-division world champion, whose skills have transcended weight classes. So let's just break down Errol Spence's resume and see if there's any validity as to what Hasim Rahman Jr. has stated. So if we look over Errol Spence Jr.'s resume, let's see if there's any truth to this, so to speak. Now, Errol Spence Jr.'s most recent fight came against Carlos Ocampo, who was a domestic-level Mexican fighter who he stopped in the first round. So you definitely cannot compare a novice such as Carlos Ocampo to an elite-level fighter, pound-for-pound fighter, such as a Mikey Garcia. Those two things do not translate. So if you know anything about boxing, you're not a casual boxing fan, you know not to say a comment like this as far as comparing Mikey to Carlos Ocampo, because there's levels to this. So let's go on to the more experienced fighters, the former world champions. Lamont Peterson. Errol Spence Jr. stopped Lamont Peterson in the 7th round. Lamont Peterson threw in the towel. He did not lay Lamont Peterson flat on his back. No reason that Lamont Peterson couldn't continue. His corner decided that he just shouldn't. And that took 7 rounds in. So to say that you would stop Mikey in 1 round when Mikey's levels above Lamont Peterson, who's a C-level fighter, is very surprising to me. Kell Brook. Stopped Kell Brook in the 11th round. Almost went the entire distance. And the only reason it was stopped early, the reason why Kell Brook stopped the fight at that point, was simply because he could not see out of the eye. Kell Brook came into this fight a damaged fighter, a weight drain fighter, and a fighter coming off a knockout loss and an eye surgery. And it still took Errol Spence Jr., the most feared man in the welterweight division, according to these fanboys, 11 rounds to dispatch of a Kell Brook who has no head movement and who doesn't have the foot speed or footwork of Mikey Garcia. Let's be honest and unbiased. Leonard Bundu survived 6 rounds with the most feared and strongest guy in the welterweight division. Leonard Bundu. Who? Is Leonard Bundu elite? I don't think so. Leonard Bundu anywhere near Mikey Garcia's level? I don't think so. But he went 6 rounds. But let's keep going. Chris Algieri. 5 rounds. Who? Alejandro Barrera. 5 rounds. So you have no-name, lower-tier fighters going at least 5 rounds with Errol Spence Jr. Samuel Vargas went 4 rounds with Errol Spence Jr. Samuel Vargas. And do you know who Samuel Vargas is? Samuel Vargas is a low-level fighter, and he's already been stopped twice in his career. And you know who stopped him? Errol Spence Jr., Danny Garcia, and he's also taken a loss to Amir Khan. Okay, so Samuel Vargas, and he also lost to a Pablo Munguia. Who? Exactly, that's right. Errol Spence Jr. is beating up on bums and lower tier C-level fighters. The only decent fighter that's really on his resume is Kell Brook, and because of the circumstances in which he entered that fight, he was a C plus to a B at best in that fight because of all the factors that led up to it. So you see that Errol Spence Jr. is not knocking out Samuel Vargas in 1 round. He's not knocking out, Francisco Javier Castro in 1 round. He's not knocking out Alejandro Barrera in 1 round. He's not knocking out Leonard Bundu in 1 round. Chris Algieri. Most guys are going 5 and 6 rounds with Errol Spence Jr. And that's how many rounds it typically takes for Errol Spence Jr. to get his body attack on point to be able to wear down the guy meticulously over those first 6 rounds is about when he starts getting a stoppage. So if you would have said, oh, he could stop Mikey in 6, I would say, okay, maybe that makes more sense. But that was such a novice and an uneducated statement that Hasim Rahman Jr. stated, because it's simply because if you know anything about Errol Spence Jr., he's not a one-punch knockout artist. He doesn't stop guys in the first and second rounds, and you can't take in a guy like Carlos Ocampo in the effect, because based on his history, based on tangible evidence that we see, we know that's most likely not going to happen. But people tend to act like Mikey Garcia doesn't have power and pop, and that Errol Spence Jr. couldn't get stopped. And that's a real possibility as well. So when we're debating this and we talk about this, we have to be honest and unbiased, is that Mikey Garcia, I truly believe he'll go the distance. If a broken Kell Brook can go 11 rounds, why couldn't Mikey go 12? If a C-level Lamont Peterson could go 7, why couldn't Mikey go 12? And this all leads back to one particular thing about Errol Spence Jr. is that he's been overhyped and overpushed and over dramatized as this killer, this ferocious animal, this guy who has the most powerful shots in boxing. He's a weight bully at 147 pounds, and he needs body work to wear down his opponent and stop him. He's not the guy you think he is. He doesn't have Floyd Mayweather's skills or ability. Errol Spence Jr. is a very good fighter, an entertaining fighter. I like Errol Spence Jr., but he's not the elite overall fighter that people make him out to be. He's just a very big and strong guy. Unbiased and honest, as always, just IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.